Hey guys, and welcome to today's webinar. It's your girl Paisley, and I'm here to talk about how we're going to get our money together. It is Get Your Money Together webinar. So, if you are watching this on the replay and this is your first time seeing me, welcome to the channel. Make sure that you do press subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. So who am I? I have been a cam model for almost 6 years and a phone sex operator the past 5. Um, Sorry, maybe I should read off my notes. Been doing this YouTube channel just to teach other fellow sex workers or newbie sex workers to get into the world of online adult industry. So I'm here to talk about making money as an online adult worker. But first, like any other webinar, I'd like to talk about my ABCs to this whole. I used to say it was the ABCs of camming, but I think this is just the ABCs of entrepreneurship in general. The first one, the A, stands for accountability. Accountability is something that we lose when we are our own boss. We have to hold ourselves accountable for everything. And for me, it was somewhat of a challenge going from a job. Even though I was the manager there, you still always have some boss over your head, or, you know, just because my boss isn't in the store, they're still calling me, checking on me, popping up and everything. You still have them watching and monitoring you and all these things, telling you when you could take break, when's the best time for this. And I got fired because I manifested it. I was very thankful to have lost that job because it was able to put me in this world where I didn't have those restrictions. But honestly, if I didn't snap into accountability quick enough, it's just going to be a failure. And I feel like anyone getting into this, one of the first things that you do need to know is how to hold yourself accountable, because some people just can't. Or if you're just getting into this like at 18 and maybe they haven't worked a job, they don't really have those skills. So learn how to get some accountability for yourself. It's really important. Okay, the B. The B stands for branding. It used to stand for beauty and aesthetics, but honestly, I think branding just makes it a little bit more simpler and to understand, because that beauty and aesthetics of how you look, how your socials look, how your sites, your videos, everything are packages is a representation of you. So definitely got to understand the basics of branding. If you don't know anything about marketing or branding, I highly suggest getting on YouTube University, looking it up, just doing research. Because I still do research to this day. I don't understand why people don't understand that they have to research before getting into this. I think it's really important. So if you don't know how to brand, please go research before you just throw yourself out there on a phone site or on cam or making content. Next, the C out of the ABC stands for consistency. And I'm not the only one that preaches this. Every other YouTube video that I watch, whether it is learning more stuff about camming, or at one point I was researching this other thing that's totally has nothing to do with this. But nonetheless, they said that, and then several videos I see. So consistency obviously is a big one. And I feel a lot of humans could just fall off of being consistent, which is why it's so important, because when you are consistent, you will have those repeat customers. They'll know you're there. You'll just be more seen. Without it, you fall off. And I definitely have fallen off a few times these past few years of doing this. So I see the difference of when I'm going consistent versus when I take 2 weeks off of cam or whatever the case is. Definitely notice a difference. Or making content. If you're on a set schedule and your fans are expecting every Thursday at 8 that you put out all this new content, and here it comes and you haven't done it for weeks, you're going to lose some of them, or they're going to unsubscribe from your fan sites or whatever the case is. So that's really important to understand. Accountability, branding, and consistency. Once we understand we have to do that, I think this is a misstep with a lot of people, and that is understanding all the aspects of sex work and just being an adult worker in general. Because you get into these things and you're just like, oh, I want to do cam, I want to do this, I want to do this, and so many other things trickle down. And I don't recommend trying to do every single aspect at once from the jump. When I started off as a cam girl, I wasn't starting off camming, making content, doing phone sex, doing all this stuff. It was just cam. Of course, I had the social medias and the stuff because I did do my research to see, okay, what's important, what do people use, blah, blah, blah. I'd like Snapchat at the time, Twitter, Instagram. But then as months went on, I'm like, okay, let me pick up something else. Let me learn something else and add on to it. But I would suggest that you pick whatever branch of adult work that you want to do and go hard at that before trying to just add on more and more and more. So, with that being said, you want to understand two things about sex work is there's online sex work and there's in-person sex work. In-person sex work like meetups, stripping, and meetups, whether that's actual escorting or these cash meets that doms like to do, all of that is in person. I don't knock anybody that does it. I have several friends that are well off, very high end escorts. However, that is a dangerous game, even stripping. It's just really dangerous. You have to have these guys hands on you or potentially get into it, or it's not legal everywhere. So I don't really preach on in person sex work. I don't like to see when people do like the in-person cash meets for Dom. They're like, oh, I don't have to have sex with a guy. Yes, you don't have to have sex with him. However, you're still in person with a stranger and you can get their ID and you can go through all the steps that most of the escorts do. But nonetheless, you are never safe. I actually want to bring one of my friends on the channel who is a high-end escort so she can talk about it because I've seen this lady have like $17,000 nights. But I've also seen this lady get trapped in a room and beat. And like, and the police don't help you out. Like, they don't give a fuck about adult workers. So, with that being said, that's why I never really talk about those things and don't suggest that you guys get into it. Plus, I have a lot of my escort friends that aren't the high end ones that are trying to come into this world. And as a newbie in adult world, I don't feel like you should throw yourselves out. Sorry, I forgot Sex Panther's still on. Let me cut it off before I get a call. Um, Anyways, I just want y'all to be safe. So I get some people what people have to do to survive, but I'm here to show y'all that it's a better way. And if you need to make $200 to $300 a day, and that's good enough for you, you can make that here. Because I do have had friends, and I want to take a moment to talk about this because a lot of people don't talk about like the other sides. They just think you can make so much money escorting or doing meets or whatever. I've had girls I've seen do this for $50, $100. And I'm like, honey, I get that for a 10-minute video chat. Like, let's get to the online world. It's safer, and I just want you guys to be safe. So that's my disclaimer and what I think about the in-person stuff. But I'm here to teach about online adult work, online doming, online camming, online, obviously, phone sex operating, content creation, those types of things. There's other aspects of it, but those are the ones that I talk about as far as the online adult stuff. So you want to really understand each one and look up what is camming, what is phone sex, what does it take to actually be successful at it, and evaluate if it's right for you. So I'm going to kind of give y'all my opinion about all of this. So the three areas that I predominantly teach is camming, phone sex, and content creation. With those, just to give you a perspective, camming is best for someone who already has a good laptop. I'm not gonna even sugarcoat shit with y'all. Like those $200-$300 laptops from Walmart is not gonna be good enough for cam. I've tried it out and it doesn't work. You're gonna need a good webcam please do not use your integrated one on your laptop. It just the quality is much better if you get an external one, but don't make the mistake that I did. And again, go to Walmart and buy those cheap webcams. They're not good. You need, I got the Logitech Brio. Logitech is a really good brand. I bought other brands and they were just kind of shitty, thinking I was trying to save money, but please go with Logitech or something better than that if y'all know of anything better. And you want to have a spunky personality. Not everybody's personality is bubbly, but you have to know how to engage with your audience. So if you don't have a spunky personality and that's not you, if you have other creative ways to hold an audience's attention for 3 to 4 hours straight, then go for it. If that's not you and you're like, oh, I'm so shy, but I want to make money, but this is not for you. Like, I don't even want y'all to waste your time. Like, don't fake it, please. There's something I do feel like if anyone wants to get into adult work, there's something for everybody, but please go with what you're most comfortable with. Other than that, having outfits, having at least one toy, one realistic toy, not just like a little vibrator. I mean, if that's all you have to start with, we all got to start somewhere if you're just passionate about doing cam. But I think there's other ways you can build up to at least have the essentials that you need for camming because, um, whatever, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, so that's like the basic essentials that you need and the type of attitude that you want to have getting into this. You must know that you do want to spend, and I've seen other YouTube videos that they say you don't have to spend this much time and they claim they're making all this money. And if that works for you when you're one of those girls, more power to you. But I've been someone who didn't come into this industry with a following. I didn't have like know how to market myself on social media correctly as an adult worker. None of this. I came to this just building from ground zero. With that being said, please don't fall into the trap of just thinking you're going to make thousands of dollars from day one. I think some of the other YouTubers make you feel that way, and it could very well happen, but you have to understand everyone's different. So I suggest when you're first starting off at cam that you have 40 hours a week to put into this. 30 at minimum, but I would suggest getting on there every single day if possible and staying on there as long as you can for the first 2 weeks because you're in new girl status and you'll never truly know where your fan base is if you only use new girl status, say like 3 hours, then that's it. If you can, if you don't have children or anything that's another job or anything that's stopping you, I would suggest going on there in the morning, going on there in the afternoon, and going on there overnight to see when your fan base is on, and each of those times staying on there for like 3 hours to see what times really attract your guys. Now, if you don't have the flexibility to do that, as long as you do have 30 to 40 hours to put in and you're going to be consistent with those hours, more power to you. Get started because that's what I did. I didn't take advantage, but if you can, please take advantage and stream as much as possible your first 2 weeks. Once that wears off, I would still suggest putting in about 30 to 40 hours because as a streamer, you will make passive income eventually once you start doing content and all of this. However, you need to attract your fan base and grow it. I didn't grow my fan base from social media. My cam guys went from cam to social media. My fan base came from, honestly, Chatterbait. When I got started, I lived on there. And then I was like, okay, go to my social media, go here and, tell them about that. But they came from these sites. Now, if you already have a social media following, cool. Now you can bring those followers and turn them into paying customers. I just didn't have that. And I want to let everyone know that if you think you have to grow your social media first, you don't. You need to get on cam. That's where they're going to come from. Okay, so that's camming. I have more camming videos on here, and there's several on YouTube. I suggest watching mine, watching anyone else's that you see on here. There's a couple of good people out there, like Noah Bensi, Secret Life of a Cam Girl. She talks about camming a lot on her channel. She's actually got some new videos coming to her channel, so I'm excited about that. That's kind of where I started, but there's some other ones. Just sit and watch everything, absorb, absorb, absorb as much as you can. And if you still need help, I suggest getting some sort of a coach. All right, so let's talk about the next thing I did. I'll go in my order that I did these, but that's not to say this is the right order to go in. Next, I did content creation. I will say this, if you want to do cam and content creation, you can record your cam shows and you should start making content, but I wouldn't be so pressed as to getting into the rabbit hole of like uploading and doing all this stuff right from the jump, because I really think that you should pick one or the other. Now, if content creation is where you're starting off at, then let cam and phone sex wait. But if cam or PSO is where you're starting at, give it a couple months, make content, because you could be doing that while you're on your shows. But once you get into the habit of, okay, now it's time to upload content, now I got to break down trailers, now I got to make thumbnails, now I got to learn how to build these graphics or pay somebody for that. Once you get there, that process can absorb you and take up a lot of your time. So you need to already be on track with camming or phone sex, or just simply let content creation be your lead and let the other two take a back burner, because you want to get it in line before you just keep adding on more stuff. Okay, for content creation, you can record it from your phone, but I'm gonna say this: Android is just not gonna work. I'm sorry. One of my phones is like a cheaper phone. So I do have that and my iPhone, but if I record content, it will never be on there. It will be on my iPhone. And even still at this point, I think I have, I don't know, like an iPhone 11 or 12, and that's old. We're in 2024. This year is time for me to upgrade, because I'm even noticing like, damn, and it's still pretty good quality, especially if I have a light behind it. But I just want to stress that is important. And some people want to argue me different, but I had a friend who bought the brand newest, most expensive Samsung. And again, I have like my iPhone 11 or 12. I really forgot which one it is. But she took a picture from my phone and took a picture from hers, because she wanted to argue with me that she couldn't see a difference. And if you're used to looking at it, you don't see it. But then once you see the clearer quality, it does make all the difference. So if you are doing it from a phone, please use an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, but you have a laptop, go get yourself a webcam. And again, Logitech Brio or better, which is like $80, I think. It's not that it's expensive if you actually don't have any money, but it's really not that expensive. So if you're going to be recording content, I suggest those are like the basics. So once we're past that part, you still need things like props, outfits, your hair, your makeup, everything should be on point. I am natural now. So I do want to put a disclaimer. When you get on cam, in my opinion, unless your whole aesthetic is just natural, you need to put on some makeup. Even these movie stars, when they're doing bareface, they still have on makeup. It just makes you look better on camera. So some people could argue with me that they don't want to do that. That's fine. But when I started my cam journey in this whole world, I had my wigs together, I had my makeup, I had my outfits, everything was just on point. I go natural now because of my YouTubers, because I want to show Black and brown girls that you don't have to put on a wig to make your money. And in the process of me doing that, somehow I just said, fuck the makeup. But nonetheless, I am also 6 years in with an established fan base, and they're just going to love me regardless. When you're first getting onto cam or making your content, please make sure that you look your best. Brush your hair, scrape your tongue, because if you're going to be sucking on toys, they're going to see your tongue. No one wants to see a white tongue. Like, you have to be mindful of these things. Have your feet and nails done. You know, they're going to be seeing these things in your videos. So at the bare minimum, I would suggest doing all of that. Okay. And then obviously content ideas. And if you don't know where to start with content content ideas, and if you watch YouTubes and you've done all this stuff and you still don't know where to go, then maybe I would suggest going into phone sex or cam before doing content, because that's how I learned a lot of the lingo and the skills to be able to do this content. Like I said, I started off as camming. I didn't even know how to squirt on cam or none of that. 2 months later, I'm all good. And at that point, I feel like I was knowledgeable enough to be able to put videos together and stuff. Okay, so then the next thing is PSO. So PSO is a great place to start if you're not ready to show yourself. So everything that I just said, if you don't have like the right quality camera, you don't know what you want to do, you don't have outfits, you don't have toys, you just broke, you need money, get on phone sex. I'm not going to say that's the easiest to start. I think cam is easier than phone sex because, again, camming allows you to be yourself. Whereas phone sex, when the moment they call, they're going to be like, oh, I'm a cook. Oh, I want this. Let's get into this role play. And you instantly have to do that, where I feel like cam also gives you that practice. So I'm thankful that I started there, but I was also not anyone that wanted to hide myself. So if you do need to cover your face or any of that, you got to start with where you can. That's just my journey. Okay, back to phone sex. All you need is a phone. A phone, a great attitude, obviously, the right mindset, and you can get on there and start making money from your phone. But with that being said, with phone sex, you do need to be knowledgeable about the basic fetishes, such as gooning, edging, cucks, sissies, JOICEI, SPH. You need to know what these things mean. When I first got into this, if somebody would have told me that, I would have been like, what the hell is that? I don't know what a cuck is or what's a goon. Like the first time I heard gooning, I thought it was hilarious because I had only ever heard like Plies or Lil Wayne rap about being a goon, only to discover that it has a whole nother meaning outside of the rap world. So I just picked up on that stuff. But again, when I first got into this, I didn't have any of that knowledge. So I am glad I started with Cam because it did give me the chance to sit there and just learn about it through what the guides are saying. And there's so many guys that come on your screen at once and are saying all these different things. So you just are learning. I also like to use the customers as free research. Okay. So besides that, you want to be knowledgeable of basic fetishes, have the right mindset, but you can get on your phone and start making money. It is still work. There's a lot of admin tasks and things that are required to make said money. But however, if that's all you got, then that's maybe where you need to start. Once you understand that, then it's time to break down where you feel like would be best for you. So after you've done your research and you're like, oh, all three of these sound interesting, but I still don't know where I want to start. Do pros and cons of each. Uh, Look at all your research and then figure out which one. And if you want to genuinely do all three, that's great. Pick which one you want to start, get a roadmap to success, plan on starting one, plan on starting the other one like 3 months later, and then adding the third one maybe like a year in to doing the other two. But I don't suggest your first year trying to do all of this. Okay. Once you figure all that out, it's time for you to plan and prepare. So some people just be like, oh, I want to be a cam girl. Let me sign up for this site. Boom, join. They broadcast. They lose their new girl status or whatever. They don't know what they're doing. Then they say, oh, this isn't working for me. I'm not making money. When in actuality, they didn't take the time to do like the research and to plan it out. So the first thing that comes into planning and preparation, once you have your research, you got an idea, you need to figure out what schedule you're going to work. So many times, like I lost count after 200, but I've done a lot of consultations, and so many times when I'll answer people's questions first because I think they have the jitters when they pay me. They're like, okay, is she gonna give me the right information or what? Once we get their first questions out the way, I instantly go to a schedule. I would say most of the people who didn't listen to me and didn't get a schedule or didn't last. The people that just want to wing it don't seem to last. Um, then I have people like Noelle that's in here that I did a consultation with like 2 years ago and is thriving. So, hey, I'm sure she made some sort of a schedule when she got in it. But, anyways, scheduling is very important. So, figure it out. If you can, figure out, try to be morning, night, afternoon. Don't try to bounce times like Monday I'm doing this time, Tuesday I'm doing this. Like try to make it around the same times. That's when you're going to get the most consistent fans. If you can't because of your job, you have to do what you can do. However, if you have an open schedule, try to stick to either mornings, evenings, overnights, whatever you do, stick to that because those guys who are on there around that time will continuously be on there around the same time, and that's how you build repeat clients, which I think repeat customers are 100 times better than new ones, in my opinion. I'd rather do a video chat with somebody I've already done multiple video chats with than a new guy because you have to go through the process of just figuring everything out. It's just going to be a little bit more of a hassle at times. Okay, so you're going to plan, you're going to get your schedules together, and once you got a good plan, you got your to-do list, you got your schedule, you know what you're going to do, and you still don't feel right already, then I suggest hiring a mentor. I do my coaching. I will talk about my next course coming up here in a second, but get help, please. I don't want people buying my course. That's why I say there's other people doing courses. I don't want y'all buying my course if I'm not the right fit for you because you're going to be with me for like 2 months. Well, my next course is a mini course. But nonetheless, you're going to be with me for these extended hours, a lot of your week, and you have to like me. You got to feel like you're compatible with me. You got to feel like, okay, this girl can help me. If not, find someone else. But if you still have the jitters, I suggest getting some sort of mentorship. Do you guys have any questions? The ones that are here? Any questions about anything, y'all? Okay. Well, then I am going to talk about the next course that I have coming up. So I really wasn't going to do another course, and I really was like, okay, I cannot fit this in my schedule. However, I had a few people ask, and I just didn't want to add any more to the current class that I already have going on. So I just decided to make a mini course. So this course is going to be May 6th through June 2nd. We'll be meeting every Saturday from 2 to 4 and again on Sundays at 7 p.m. So the difference is this one is going to be a lot shorter, but the hours are going to be pretty similar. You also get access to come to my study halls every Friday from 12 to 3 and accountability sessions every Sunday from 3 to 6. And it comes with a consultation. So if you are wanting to get signed up for the next course, please holla at your girl. You can find me on Instagram or Telegram at Mattress Actress Academy to get signed up. And yeah, so that's all I had for you guys today. I'll be putting this on YouTube so they can watch the replay. And again, if anyone wants to get signed up, we have about 3 more days before orientation and about 8 days until the first class. I'm not right. No, 7. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate y'all's time, and I'll see y'all later.